We just hit 350,000 subscribers on YouTube. I am grateful. I'm shocked at the success that the channel's had so far. Thanks so much for your help. And today we're continuing on with Lincoln Lawyer. Let's see what we got.
And here we go.
Don't look so sour. It's depressing.
I couldn't even go to your funeral.
Trust me, you didn't miss much. At least the catering was good. For once, my kids didn't skimp.
All right, it's hard enough watching these shows when I'm watching to critique them for, you know, legal issues and things like that. But now they're going to tug at my heartstrings. This is tough. I won't cry. Try not to.
Y hasta puede ayudarme a planificar mi boda.
Estoy seguro que le encantarán.
Déjalo en manos de mami. Yo la cuidaré. Como tú te cuidarás. Ay, come algo, mi vida. Ya estás muy flaco.
Te quiero.
Just a fun fact, we see that speaking on the phone through the glass in jail scenes a lot. That actually, I've only been to jails in Arizona, I've never been to one in California, which is where this is supposed to take place, but I've never actually seen that kind of visitation.
What?
Except in one county jail here in Arizona. Not typical, obviously a lot of fun for the show. When I go in and see a client and when a lot of other people go in to visit clients, I'm actually in the same room with them. In fact, one of the jails here in Arizona, they just set aside a room for the attorney and we just sit right across the table. We can go over discovery with our client. No, this isn't an attorney coming to see his client, this is his mom, but the place where we do visitation in that particular jail, same place everybody else does. Makes it a whole lot more dramatic, probably not typical.
Saying that Kazarian killed Sam is a good theory, but we need the jury to believe it. We need evidence.
Yeah, we'll find some. I mean, unfortunately, I can't help with that right now.
Don't worry, we'll all be on it.
Oh, before I forget, my mom agreed to take Haley.
So just a little something about what she just said there. You know, Maggie said, okay, saying that this happened is good, but we need evidence. A lot of times clients will ask me, well, don't they have to prove that I'm guilty? Yeah, they do. That's absolutely true. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. What they don't understand is that when you have evidence stacked up against you, and in this case, you know, a dead body in the back of your trunk is, you know, a lot of evidence. When you have evidence stacked up against you, you really have to have evidence going the other way to suggest that you didn't do it or pointing the finger at somebody else. You've got to either tear down each piece of evidence against you, the OJ method, or point a finger at somebody else and say, not me, that guy, right? The two basic types of defense in a criminal situation. What people don't understand is that, yes, even though it's the burden of proof is on them, you still want to get evidence to suggest that your alternate theory is in fact true. Otherwise, the defense just isn't going to work out. Let me pause for a minute to thank our sponsor. It's Hearts and Hands for Humanity, an amazing charity doing wonderful things in East Africa. Number one, they're providing clean water for people that have to walk miles every day to get to the nearest clean water, if it's even available when they get there. Another thing that they have going on is they have an orphanage in East Africa that is just doing amazing things to help impoverished kids. They would really appreciate your donation. You can click the link in the comments and help them continue doing amazing things. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, so 68 is good to go. Okay, she's on our side. We like her. And then she puts her phone down and she sees the thin blue line. In other words, I back the blue. I'm in the corner of the police. And of course, in this situation, we're pointing a finger at the police to say, okay, well, they lost the wallet. The stop was bad. It shouldn't have ever happened because, you know, all of the things that we've talked about in previous episodes. So she types out 68 is good to go and then sees the thin blue line on the back of her phone and goes, nope, 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 nope. Oh, that's funny. What they're doing here, by the way, actually observing the jurors, they're not technically interacting with them.
Wait for it.
Maybe you could get away with it if they, I'm gonna say if this actually got brought up to the court that you were having jurors followed and listening to their conversations, no, not gonna get away with it. You're not supposed to interact with them in any way. That's 100% hands down. But if you overheard a conversation of a juror during the lunch break, I'm gonna say still, they're probably gonna dismiss the jurors bare minimum. probably get sanctions against the attorney for sending his investigators and his paralegal or whatever her title is out to do this.
Hey, you know you got about 12 hungry dudes waiting to see you, right?
Office hours are close, bumping.
Like, for the day or for good?
For the foreseeable future, I gotta focus on my own case.
Just in case anyone's wondering how he could be practicing law, which is exactly what he's doing. Remember, he hasn't been convicted yet. He's been accused of a crime. That's not going to make you lose your law license. If he gets convicted of murder, yeah, absolutely he'll lose his license.
Damn.
Does that mean he still won't have a string of inmates lining up at his cell or wherever he's at to try to ask him for legal advice? No, saw that all the time. We had a couple of attorneys incarcerated when I was a corrections officer, and we had people lining up to ask him for their legal advice, and he would constantly be going, okay, so you need to file this type of motion, not that one. Again. Clearly practicing law, but nobody in there cared. The other thing, we had a chiropractor incarcerated giving adjustments all the time. So same thing, he didn't have a license anymore, but he was in there doing it. Nobody seemed to care.
Hey, you're that lawyer, right?
Yeah.
I have a preliminary hearing coming up. My lawyer wants me to take a plea, but I didn't do it.
Look, I'm really sorry, man, but I just can't help anybody today. All right? Good luck. What's the charge?
It's hard. It's hard to turn away from somebody even when you know they can't pay you, whatever their situation is. If you really believe somebody's in a pickle, it's hard to just do exactly what he's doing, even when he knows he's got to get himself out of that situation. He's got to focus on his own case. But when you know you've got knowledge that can actually help another person, maybe maintain a bit of their freedom, get out of jail, get back home to their family, whatever it is really hard to turn away in that situation. Honestly, I'd like to be in a situation where I don't have to. So one of the reasons I run a YouTube channel is so that I can get paid from views like this, so that I can actually have an income coming in, so that I can take additional clients that are in situations like that. So just a little look behind the scenes, but yeah, I would love to help more people than I am now.
Well, you just got his files.
Oh, good. Hopefully there's something in there we can use.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Lionel Stone presiding.
Refereeing another discovery dispute was not on my bingo card today, counselors. Ms. Berg, we were supposed to be starting your opening statement this morning.
That might have been the most legit thing I've ever seen on this show. Judges hate discovery disputes. Criminal, family law, whatever it is. They're just like, if you have it, turn it over. That's it. So you shouldn't ever be arguing about it. And they absolutely hate them. So that might have been the most legit thing we've seen on this show, or any other legal drama for that matter.
We are under no duty to turn over witness statements unless we're calling the witness to trial, which we are not.
You used the evidence that you got from the witness.
Which you could also have gotten if you were doing your job, Dana.
Okay, both of you. Enough.
Okay, so a lot of people might be thinking Mickey's in deep trouble here, but the fact is, Mickey quoted the rules here in Arizona Rule of Evidence 15.2, Rule of Criminal Procedure 15.2. The defendant has to turn over certain types of evidence. Among them are notice of defenses, so if they're going to use an alibi, if they're going to use self-defense as a defense, stuff like that. Physical evidence, if they don't intend to use it at trial, remember, he's got a Fifth Amendment right to not self-incriminate, so even if he knew about something in that apartment that was bad for him, he didn't have to turn it over. Now, what's going against him is that he put that person on the witness list, right? The landlady is on the witness list. That's a new name. And so all of a sudden she's going, wait a minute, you're going to call them as a witness. You knew they had information and you're just springing this on us at the last minute. Probably not as big a deal as that prosecutor is making it sound like it is. I think I mentioned earlier when Mickey said, just sell it, get rid of it all. I went, ooh, seems like that wouldn't be the best answer in that situation. Anyway, let's see where it's going.
You really didn't find anything?
Nothing that I took with me. Max, I didn't break a single rule here, all right? Besides, we won.
Did we? He has you on notice. One more misstep and he can hangs over your head.
I did what I had to do. This is not a fair fight, Meg. It never is. They have all the power, so you do whatever you can to even the playing field. Welcome to my side.
All right, I absolutely identify with what Mickey's saying here. I've told people before that being a criminal defense attorney is like playing Texas Hold'em, where you get to look at one of your cards and the prosecutor gets to look at your other card and you have no idea what it is. It's tough, and to feel like I've got to do whatever I need to do, and to be pulled in the direction of like Saul Goodman or one of these dirty attorneys that's doing whatever it is that they have to do to win. I get the idea of the pull. It doesn't work out well in the end. It usually comes out and ends up bad for the attorney, bad for the client. So it's the wrong answer. I do understand the pull.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Deputy District Attorney Dana Berg. I am here today for one reason: justice. A man was murdered with callous disregard for the law or decency or morality by a person who had been entrusted as an officer of this very court.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, she's starting off with this: a man was murdered with callous disregard for the law and without any morality. Are people murdered with regard for the law and with morality?
Oh my God!
Thought that was an interesting way to start. I wouldn't be what I would use if I was a prosecutor, but okay.
We will demonstrate that Mr. Scales and Mr. Haller were in a financial dispute for unpaid legal fees. And the defendant, in all of his rage and his greed, decided that the best chance for him to recover that money was to kill Sam Scales and collect on his estate.
So that also would not be how I would start my opening statement if I was in her shoes. She's trying to prove that he murdered him. She's trying to establish motive right out of the gate, and she's going to point to that stupid letter that we trashed in the last episode. Motive to me whatsoever. So that wouldn't be the way that I would start off. Yeah, but telling the jury there's motive and it was money, and then to put this piece of evidence in their hands just maybe moments later, it could be hours later, might even be the next day. But to me, if I'm a juror and I go, oh wow, so he killed him for money, and then they put that in my hands and I go, that's it? That's what you've got? I think already I'm going, wow, you guys don't have a very strong case here. Wouldn't be the way I'd start my opening statement.
Mr. Haller may have thought that Sam Scales was an easy target, someone whose death would go unmourned and unnoticed. He may have thought that all of his intricate knowledge of the justice system, it would enable him to get away with murder. And he may have thought that even if he did get caught, he could use all of his years of trial experience to distract and deceive you. But he was wrong. He was wrong on all counts. And once you are able to look at the clear facts in front of you, I am confident you will deliver the only possible verdict: guilty. Thank you.
Also, if you're wondering why can she say something like that in an opening statement, opening statements have very little rules to them. You get away with almost anything. So an opening statement like that, yeah, you're allowed to present a theme, and she's sharing a theme. You're allowed to say the evidence is going to show. You could even preview to say, we'll have a letter that we're going to show you. Crappy letter, but we have a letter we're going to show you, and it's going to show motive for money and that he did this to get paid. You can do a lot of stuff like that. If anything, I would say that the only thing that's not typical about this opening statement is how short it was. It probably would go a little bit longer than that.
My name is Maggie McPherson, and I am co-counsel for the defense, along with Mr. Haller. Now, you should know that I have given many opening statements in my career, but this one is a first for me. My first on the defense side. See, I'm normally a prosecutor. Now, it's not that I've made a big career change, far from it. I have dedicated my life to seeking justice, and that is exactly what I am doing here, because this case is nothing short of an injustice. This man is innocent. There's not much more to say. We don't have to prove his innocence for you to return a not guilty verdict. It's the people who have to prove guilt. You see, in our justice system, the defense doesn't have to prove anything. But I promise you, we will. Thank you.
Not bad. First thing that came to mind was before she even started talking, I thought, I hope she says, I'm usually a prosecutor. I just came over for this case. Because that's a big point. She can say that. It's not evidence, but you're allowed to tell him, hey, look, here's my qualifications. I was a prosecutor for 20 years and now I came over. And why? Because I believe he's innocent. You can tell him that. Cool. What I think she didn't do was establish a theme for the case. Just barely, she said the theme is not Mickey, this other guy. She didn't even say what this other guy's name is. Okay, so that part, probably lacking a little bit. And I probably would have attacked they said he did it for financial gain.
I'm rich.
Maybe attack how much he would have stood to gain from that. You think that he would have done this for, I don't even remember what the amount is, but let's just throw it out. You think he would have done this for $20,000 because he was owed $20,000 by a former client when his net worth is X? Does that make any sense? It doesn't even make sense, but they're gonna tell you there's a letter that says so, right? Something along those lines. So to me, that was a little brief for defense argument and not enough attacking the case.
Plus I heard his voice. I know Carter's voice.
Were you still in the stockroom?
No, I came out, I saw him. Then when I saw the gun, I dug back in there. And then I heard the shot, so I hid behind some boxes. But he only got one shot off for the gun jam.
How do you know the gun jammed?
I grew up in South Central. I know what a gun jam would sound like. After that, I heard 2 clicks. Then Gary got a shot off. He keep a gun behind the counter.
He knows what a gun jam sounds like. I go shooting at least once every other month. I used to be on the tactical support unit out at Lewis Prison. I was a firearms instructor during my time as a corrections officer. I don't know what a gun jam sounds like, but okay, that sounded good. It's nice drama.
Did you notice anything suspicious? Well, other than the missing license plate, of course.
Not at first, no. I asked the defendant to exit his vehicle and showed him why I pulled him over. He acted surprised and then impatient.
Impatient?
Yeah, like he just wanted to get out of there. He insisted I write him a ticket and just send him on his way.
And were you about to do that?
I was, yeah, until I saw the blood.
Marking people's exhibit.
Okay, one of the things that just annoys the living bat snot out of me is hearing a police officer testify that the defendant looked impatient, that they looked nervous, that they, maybe their hands were shaking or something. Like, some people are just scared of cops. Some people just don't like to have police interaction. Some people are just that worried about getting a speeding ticket. I know people that have called me crying because they said, I've never gotten a ticket in my life. And then I found out it wasn't even a criminal speed. It was a standard speeding ticket that they're calling an attorney about. Hearing an officer say, oh yeah, they were nervous, they were scared, yeah, well, some people just are.
Is it possible that buzzing came from another phone? Maybe a burner phone? One that can't be traced to you?
Objection. There is no foundation for this outrageous accusation.
The foundation is the buzzing sound everyone in this court heard, Your Honor.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
Should I repeat the question, officer?
I don't recall that I had any other cell phones on me at the time.
You don't recall?
That's not a good answer. I'm pretty sure everybody that's watching this video is supposed to know that is not a good answer.
What?
I don't recall having any other cell phones. Look, ask me if I've ever had a burner phone. No, I can categorically deny I've never had a burner phone in my life. That's the answer he should have given, if it was true.
Okay. Would a video of you carrying such a phone refresh your memory? Defense Exhibit A, Your Honor. This is a video of my arrest shot by a passerby on her cell phone, and before the people can object they've never seen it, we're offering it as impeachment.
Very good. Now that is a rule of evidence, okay? So, and just as, Miss Berg here was going to jump up and say, objection, they didn't tell us that they were going to use this for impeachment purposes. In other words, to show that somebody just lied on the stand, you can introduce evidence that you haven't disclosed, okay? Now, because the excuse essentially is that we thought he was going to tell the truth. We wouldn't need this evidence if he had. And now we get to introduce it as impeachment evidence.
Did you receive any alert or text of any kind that was connected in any way with the defendant?
No, I did not.
So this was just your private business. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. I'm not proud of it, but it had nothing to do with me pulling the defendant over, and it certainly had nothing to do with finding a dead body in his trunk.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Very well, the witness is excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Well, technically, defense could still redirect again, but that's okay.
We're adjourned till Monday. The jurors will remember their admonition not to discuss this case with anyone, nor read or view any media accounts of this case. Thank you.
Throw enough mud at the wall and eventually something will stick. Well played, I guess.
Quit calling pieces of crap to be your witnesses and you won't have to worry about it.
Hey, what do you know about a Glock 19?
That it's the follow-up to the Glock 18, but not much else. Why?
I'm looking at a ballistics report in this Carter Gates case. That's the gun he used in the murder. But Carter says he never owned any gun at all. So I'm just trying to figure out, is it a hard gun to get a hold of?
I don't think so, but I can look into it tomorrow for you, babe.
You don't need to look into that. It's one of the most common guns on the street. If I remember right, Glock 19 was what we carried at DOC. Glock 19 is one of the most common sidearms just available out there. They're not as relied on as they used to be, but a Glock was a really, really common firearm just a few years ago. So, answer to the question, no. Not hard.
You can't do this!
Okay, so get it. He's in a corrupt system. We've kind of seen that already with them having recorded conversations that were supposed to be privileged. Now it looks like they're trying to get him in the hole. I'm not quite sure why. The whole solitary, right? That if you get in a fight at DOC, you would get upgraded to level 5, at least temporarily. So level 5 was the highest level, so you'd be in maybe a cell with maybe one other person, but generally speaking by yourself. So looks like that's what they're got going on here. Not sure why, but okay, well, we'll have to find out next episode.